everyone. Good evening and good afternoon. Good morning to some of you. My name is Carla Obispo. I'm going to be your lecturer for the IELTS listening this week. So I hope everybody has a pen and paper with them because we're going to do exercises. We're going to have 40 items and let's see how much score you'll get over 40. Okay. So welcome to my ProU IELTS preparation program. Okay. So today we are going to talk about the basics of the IELTS listening. Okay. So as I've mentioned during the orientation, this takes about 30 minutes only. If you're going to take the paper-based exam, this is 40 minutes because you will have to 10 minutes time to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. But in computer-based exam, you only have 2 minutes to check your answers. Hey, so now, hey, there are 40 questions and 4 sections. The test is recorded on a CD and will be played only one time. When I took the computer-based exam, we have a proctor, okay, walking behind us, and they will say when to click the play button. Okay, so when you click play, okay, everybody click play audio. Nobody shall pause or stop it. Okay, once you click play, there's no stopping. Okay, so now, okay, during the test, you will be given time to read the questions and write down the answers. So the answers are written on the question paper. When the recording ends, you have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. This is for paper-based exam. But for computer-based exam, you have minutes to check your answers. Okay. So now, there are different task types for the IELTS listening. So the first two sections will be about social needs, and the latter two will be about academic context. So you will listen to a range of native speakers of English accents. Okay. So some people are talking too fast, some have accents. Okay. So we are going to do some practice tests for multiple choice, short answer questions, sentence completion, note summary, flowchart, table completion, labeling a diagram, classification, and matching. Okay, so now let's begin with section one. Okay, so section one is a conversation between two people. It can be face to face or on the phone. So in here, the subject is of general interest. Okay, so what does it test? This one tests your understanding of specific informations. For example, dates, places, names. Okay, so your skills in spelling will be tested in section 1. So usually there's one or two tasks here, and it will start with an example and then 10 questions. So now, okay. So the first skill that you need to have is the skill in note completion. Okay. So this one requires you to fill the gaps in the notes someone makes during a conversation. Like, for example, you're on a phone call. You have to make some notes. Okay. The notes are in the same order as the information that you will hear. Okay. And so if you're asked to spell the name of a street, person, company, it will be spelled for you. So when a letter is repeated, we say double, like A double P L E. Okay, something like that. So you can write the dates in different ways, like 3rd March, March 3, 3 March, as long as you follow the directions. Okay, so the numbers you write in the exam can be a year, a price, a phone number, or a part of an address. So, for example, you're asked to write a measurement. You can write 25 m or 25 meters. Okay. So, both are accepted. Okay. So, you have to write in every gap, even if you're not sure about it. So, because if you're going to do the paper-based exam and you transfer your answers incorrectly, so that will cause you to fail. For example, my student did not answer number 9. But when she's transferring her answers, instead of skipping 9, her answer to number 9 to number 10 was moved to 9, and there was a domino effect, and she got 2 band score of 2 over 9. Okay, so let not please don't do that mistake. Okay, so be careful when transferring your answers. Okay, so for note completion, what we're going to do, number one, okay, look at the instructions, find out how many words you can write, look at the heading, so it tells us what is it about. Look at the gaps and think about what kind of words or number are needed. And of course, listen to the introduction. Okay, listen carefully and focus on each question in turn. Okay, you have to write the answers as you listen. Okay, that is for paper based. But in computer based, you have to type or select your answers as you listen. Okay. So let's start with the first one. Okay. Now, I want you to bring out your pen and paper. Don't put your answer on the chat box. We are going to check together. Okay. So for now, I will share my screen and my sound. Okay. Let me just reshare it. So I will play the recording, and then you have to answer it on a piece of paper, and later let's check it together. I will play the recording now.
Test 1,
Can you hear it?
exam practice.
Okay, were you able to hear it? Just checking. Okay, do you hear it? Yes. Okay, let me mute myself now.
Listening section. Holiday she would like to go on. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 6.
Pause the recording for 30 seconds.
You will see that there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
Holidays for you. Sean speaking. Can I help you?
Oh, hi. I've been looking at your website. I'm interested in a cycling holiday in Austria in April.
We have 2 trips in April. One lasts 14 days and the other 10 days.
I think the 10-day trip is better. So let's see. I've got a calendar here. What are the dates?
The length of the trip that the woman chooses is 10 days, so 10 has been written in the space. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 6.
Holidays for you. Sean speaking. Can I help you?
Oh, hi. I've been looking at your website. I'm interested in a cycling holiday in Austria in April.
We have 2 trips in April. One lasts 14 days and the other 10 days.
I think the 10-day trip is better. So let's see. I've got a calendar here. What are the dates?
Well, that trip is in the middle of the month. It starts on the 17th of April and it finishes on the 27th.
That suits me. I can't leave work before the 10th of April.
Let me see if there are any spaces. Is it just for yourself?
Myself and my sister, so 2 of us.
Yes, we have spaces.
Is it a big group?
At the moment, there are 12 people booked on this trip, and with you two, that will be 14. The maximum number is 16, so it's almost fully booked. We can't go over that because it's hard to keep a larger group together.
I need to check that I'm fit enough for this, but the distances look okay. The website says we'll ride approximately 45 kilometres a day. Is that right?
That's correct, and I've got the exact distances here. It really depends on which part of the trip. Some days are only 35 kilometres, and some are more, but you'll never have to cycle more than 50 kilometres in one day.
Oh, okay. I can manage that. And we stay in hotels?
Yes, they all have restaurants, and the rooms have ensuite facilities.
And do they have pools? It's how I relax after a long day.
There is a swimming pool in a few of the hotels, but none of them has a gym.
I don't think we'll need a gym after all that cycling. I'd better find out how much the holiday costs before I get too excited.
Including flights, it's £1,177 for one person.
Oh, we'll book our own flights on the internet.
That's just £1,013 then. And we can book insurance for you if you want.
And which meals are included in that price?
Well, breakfast, of course, and the hotels will provide you with a packed lunch each day. We do stop during the afternoon in a village somewhere for a rest, so any snacks you buy then are extra. Then dinner will be in the hotel every evening, and that's included in the price of the holiday.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 7 to 10.
Pause the recording for 30 seconds.
Now listen and answer questions 7 to 10.
And you provide the bicycles, of course. What else?
A lock and a bell come with the bike, as well as lights, although you shouldn't need to cycle in the dark. There's a small bag, or pannier, on the front of the bike, where you can put the things you want to take with you during the day, like water or fruit. But we won't allow you to cycle unless you bring a helmet. We don't provide these locally because, like walking boots on a walking holiday, it's really important it fits properly.
OK.
If there's any special gear you need for your holiday, we recommend a particular website, and you can get a discount by quoting your booking reference.
Great. What is it?
It's www.ballantine.com. That's all one word, and I'll spell it for you. www.ballantine.com.
Good. I've got that down. I've been looking at your website while we've been talking. I see we cycle along the River Danube.
Yes, it's one of Europe's most well-known areas for cycling.
It looks fascinating. Lots of beautiful countryside and things to see.
I should warn you that we do reserve the right to make some alterations to the route if the weather is bad. Some of the tracks sometimes get very muddy.
OK. Well, hopefully it won't rain too much. I know we stop in towns and villages, but do we get a chance to look around? Because I'm really interested in history.
Oh, yes, you get opportunities to explore. Is there something in particular you want to see?
There's a theatre in a town called Grine. A friend of mine went there last year and said it was amazing.
Let's see. Yes, there's a guide who'll take you round the building. We don't have any other tours arranged, but you can visit several castles and museums on the holiday.
Well, thank you for all that information. I'd like to book that then.
Right, well, I'll just...
That is the end of section 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Pause the recording for 30 seconds.
Okay. So I hope everybody gets 10 over 10. Okay, let's check now. Okay, now, what could be the answer for number one? Holiday begins on. You have to write no more than two words. Okay? So if it's 17 only, it's incorrect. If it's April only, it's incorrect. If it's your April, must be correct spelling. Okay? I only have you can write 17th April. The 17 th should be one word only. Okay? Not the th should not be separated with 17. Okay? 17th April or 17 April. Okay? And if it's a proper noun, your letter A must be in uppercase. Okay, so April 17, 17 April, 17 April. So those are the only correct answer. Okay? So how about okay, so that's number 1. Okay. Number 2, no more than blank people in cycling group. Okay, the maximum number is 16. Correct. Okay, so 2 points for you. Okay. Now, number 3. Okay, each day group cycles blank on average. Okay, the keyword is average. Okay. Okay. So how about the others? Okay, there must be kilometer. Okay, it's 45 kilometer. Not 50, not 35, it's 45 because we're talking about the average. Okay, you can write 45 km or 45 kilometers. Okay. So number 3, that's 45 kilometers. Number 4, some of the hotels have a blank. Okay. Some of the hotels have a swimming pool. Okay. You can write swimming pool or pool. Okay. Both are accepted. So, swimming pool or pool. Number 5, holiday cost blank per person without flights. As you can see, before the blank, there's already a symbol, okay, pound symbol. So when you answer, you no longer need to write any unit, just a number, okay? So this is the um holiday cost per person without flights. Okay, so the correct answer is 1013 because without flights, they are going to book their own flight. So 1013. Okay, 1013. Number 6, all food included except blank. Snacks. Okay, very good. So number 6, the only correct answer is snacks. Okay, make sure that your spelling for snack is correct. Okay, all right. Number 7, it is essential to bring a blank, a helmet. Okay, can be helmet or cycle helmet. Okay. Okay, so number 8, what do you call that website? Discount possible on equipment at www.blank.com. Okay, do not put www in .com because it's already there. Just type the correct spelling of Valentine. Okay, I think everybody got it right. Okay, so it's BALLANTYNE. Very good. You know what? This group is so good. Some people they use V instead of B. So I like that you can hear the words or hear the letters well. Okay, so correct. That is Valentine. not Valentine, it's Ballantyne. Okay. I can see wrong now. I can see people who are incorrect. So this is the correct answer. It's Ballantyne. Not necessarily capital. You can write in all caps or small caps because this is a part of a website. Okay, first for listening, the safest way to answer listening test is to do all caps. But for reading, you have to copy exactly how it was written. Okay. So number 9, it's possible that the blank may change. Uh-huh. Is it the okay. The correct answer here is the root. Okay. It's possible that the root may change because of weather. Okay. It's the root. Number 10, guided tour of a blank is arranged. Where do they want to go? They want to visit something. Number 10. So there are two possible spelling for that. Guided tour of a blank. Okay, that's correct. So theater. Okay. So some people they spell it British way or American way. Both are correct. Can be ER or RE. Okay, both are accepted. So guided tour of a theater is arranged. Okay. So now over 10, what is your score? Okay. Okay. Right. Okay, so it's not bad. For me, the passing score is 7 or 8. Okay, so those who got 6 below, let's get higher score in section 2. Okay, so now, okay, so if section 1 is a conversation between two people, section 2 is just a talk, a speech, announcement, recorded message, radio excerpt given by one person only. Okay. So sometimes there's an introduction by another person. Okay. And the subject here is of general interest. Okay. So earlier, you are being tested based on your skills in understanding. Okay. Now you will be tested based on your understanding of specific factual information. You have to select relevant information from what you will hear. Okay, so in section 2, there will be 10 questions. There's a brief pause in the recording before the start of the next task. So earlier we did note completion. Okay, your spelling skills were tested. Okay, so now the next exercise will be multiple choice. So this is the most common type of exam. Okay, so you will focus on the details and they follow the order of the recording. So for multiple choice, of course, you need to read the questions, listen to the introduction, follow the recording by listening to answer to each question. And as soon as you've chosen the answer, you have to listen to the next one. Okay? Don't stay in one question for too long because it's continuous. Okay? Check your answers and then transfer them to the answer sheet just at the end of the listening test. Okay? So before we do the practice test, let's have a warm up. Sometimes in the multiple choice you will not see exactly what you will hear in the recording. Sometimes the options are paraphrased already. Okay. So now let's do this. Okay. Let's type your answer on the chat box. Okay. What is the synonym of wide variety? Number 1. Okay, type your answer on the chat box. Number 1 is letter E. Okay, there's a huge range. Correct. Number 2, recently. Number 2 is letter C. Okay, not long ago. Correct. Number 3, easy to get to. Okay, it's letter A. Okay, it's a convenient location. Number 4, no more than. No more than. It's letter G. Okay, it's the maximum number. Number 5, a peaceful spot. That is a peaceful spot. It's letter I, a quiet place. Number 6, birthday. Okay, birthday is letter B, a special occasion. Correct. Number 7, has a view of. Okay, it's letter D. Okay, looks out over. It's letter D. Okay, number 8 is different. It's letter F, has changed. Number 9, upmarket. It's luxury. Letter J. And lastly, number 10, saucepans. Letter H, kitchen equipment. I know the others are quite pressured because it's fast, but in reality, there's no pausing. You need to keep up with the fast paced listening test. Okay. Anyway, okay. So now, let's do the first 11 to 14. Okay. Now, I want you to write your answers on your notebook again. Let me share the recording.
Test 1, Exam Practice. Listening, Section 2. You will hear someone talking on the radio about food and restaurants in the local area. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14.
Pause the recording for 30 seconds.
Now listen and answer questions 11 to 14.
And now we have our Know Your Town section, where we look at what's on offer in our area. Today, John Munro is going to tell us about local food and eating out. John.
Well, most of us buy our food in supermarkets these days, but we're very lucky having a wonderful market here. It was originally on the piece of land in front of the cathedral, but at the beginning of the 20th century, it was moved to a site by the river. When the new shopping centre was built in the 1960s, it found a home beneath the multi-storey car park, where it still is, but there are plans to move it back to its previous home by the river. The market is now open 6 days a week. On Tuesday to Saturday, you can buy fresh fruit and vegetables, meat and cheese from the area, as well as a whole range of imported produce. But if you come on a Sunday, you'll find a different market, where craftspeople sell what they have made, things like bags, cards, clothes. During the week, there are a few stalls selling more everyday utensils like saucepans and cleaning products alongside the fruit and vegetables, as well as one new stall selling antique furniture, which is proving to be very popular. People often ask what our local dish is. As we're by the sea, they expect it to be some kind of fish recipe. Our fish is good, of course, but there isn't one particular dish that stands out. What we do have is an apple cake that isn't really made anywhere else. There's a new cafe in the high street, Barton's, which bakes them fresh every morning and serves them with delicious homemade ice cream in a choice of flavours. Now, the harbour is obviously the place to buy fresh fish. Every morning there's a stall where local fishermen sell a selection of the day's catch before the rest goes to London or abroad. They've been doing that for as long as anyone can remember, of course, but the harbour itself looks very different from a few years ago. Most of the restaurants used to be at the far end, but that part was redeveloped and the restaurants had to relocate to the other end. Many of them are simply the old ones in new premises, but a couple of new ones have opened recently, so there's a good range now, both in the harbour and the town itself. I'm now going to give you my top 6 places to eat in different parts of the town.
All right, now let's check 11 to 14. Okay, so as you've noticed earlier, all of the options were mentioned in the recording. You just have to listen carefully. Okay, so number 11, the market is now situated where? Type your answers on the chat box. Okay, so some people answered A, others answered C. Okay, how about the others? Where is it situated right now at the moment? It used to be. Okay. So right now, it is located under a car park. So it's letter A. Okay. The correct answer is letter A. So it was mentioned where it was located before. Okay. They are planning to move it. But at the moment, it is under a car park. It's letter A. Okay. Number 12. On only one day a week, the market sells blank. Number 12. Okay, it's letter. Okay, how about the others? Okay, I think most of you answered letter C. Okay, the correct answer is letter C, handmade items. Correct. Number 12 is letter C. Okay, all of them were mentioned in the recording, but they sell on only one day a week handmade items. Okay, that's letter C. Number 13, the area is well known for blank. Okay, it's letter B. Okay, a cake. The area is well known for a cake. And lastly, okay, number 13 is letter B. And number 14, what change has taken place in the harbor area? Okay, number 14, it's letter B. Okay, that is fewer restaurants have moved to a different part. Correct. Okay. So the answer is number 11 A, 12 C, 13 B, 14 B. Okay. So I know it's confusing, okay, but I hope that you are going to get higher scores on numbers 15 to 20. Okay, so if we have a multiple choice question, okay, we also have matching information. Okay, this one requires you to listen to detailed information and relate it to a number of places, people. Okay, you have to listen to the part of the recording and match one piece of information from the box to each question. So it looks like later I'll show you how it looks like. So the action plan here is you need to read the options in the box. Think about the words you might hear that has a similar meaning. Okay, listen to the instructions. Look at the names or places or things that you need to match. Look at the options in the box while you are listening to the recording. If you can't choose between two answers, you can write both of them for now and then go back later. But as much as possible, just write one answer, okay? Check your answers and then transfer them to the answer sheet at the end of the listening test. So this is what I'm talking about. So why there are sometimes there is a 30-second pause. Look at the headings about advantages. Look at the options so that when you hear something similar to the options in the box, you already know what word to use. Okay. So I'm going to play the recording again.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 15 to 20.
Pause the recording for 30 seconds.
Now listen and answer questions 15 to 20.
So, number 1 for me is Merryvales, which is in one of the busiest parts of the town leading down to the harbour. It's in a side street, so it doesn't look out over the water, but it's very close, so you can take a walk after your meal and find one of the cafes with live music. At Merryvales, you can enjoy delicious fresh fish and seafood. The friendly staff offer very attentive service and a really enjoyable evening. The Lobster Pot is on the main road going down to the harbour, so it also misses out on the sea view, but the food makes up for that. It serves a huge range of fish and seafood, as well as vegetarian and meat dishes, so there's something for everyone. Prices are from mid-range to fairly expensive, so it's really only for a special occasion. Elliot's is in the city centre and is a very upmarket restaurant in the evening, but during the day it serves lunch and coffee. It's on the 20th floor above some offices, and it's a great place to sit for a while, as you can see most of the city spread out from there. It does get very busy though, and you may have to wait to be served. Not far from the city centre is the Cabin, which is on the canal bank. You can't park your car there. It's a 15-minute walk from the nearest car park, but it's very peaceful. A good place to relax away from the traffic. It's not cheap, but it's an ideal place for a long lunch. The Olive Tree is a family-run restaurant in the city centre offering beautifully prepared Greek dishes. It's well known locally and very popular. Service can be slow when it's busy, as all the food is freshly made. There's plenty of room, and on Friday and Saturday nights, the wooden floors resound with live music and dancing, which is certainly worth going for. The last place I want to recommend has only just opened in a converted school building. The old school restaurant has been very cleverly renovated. The use of mirrors, plants and the colours on the walls makes you feel as though you're in a large garden instead of the city centre. There are only a few dishes on the menu, but they change every day. So, Tanya, I really
That is the end of section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Pause the recording for 30 seconds.
Alright, let's check number 15. Okay, Mary Vales. What could be the answer for number 15? Mary Vales is known for. Okay, that's correct. So they are known for their excellent service. That's letter D. Okay, number 15 is letter D. Excellent service. Okay. Number 16. Okay, the lobster pot. Okay, what's on your answer sheet? The lobster pot is known for their wide menu. Okay. So number 16 is letter H. Okay. They are known for their wide menu. Okay. Number 17, Elliot's. Okay. Elliot's is known for letter F, good view. Okay. I hope others can still keep up. Okay. Number 18, the cabin. Okay. The cabin is known for letter. Okay. Letter G. Okay. The cabin is known for letter G, quiet location. Okay. Now, let's move forward to number 19. Okay. The olive tree. Number 19, the olive tree is known for. Okay, how about the others? Okay, number 19, the olive tree is known for letter C. Okay, it's entertainment. Okay, lastly, number 20, the old school restaurant. Type your answers on the chat box. Number 20, lastly, the old school restaurant is known for their decoration. Okay, it's letter. Decoration is letter A. Okay. All right. So over 20, what is your score now? Okay, 16 over 20, 17. Okay, not bad. Okay. So I hope you get 30 over 40, at least 30. Okay. All right. What happened to my screen? Just a moment. Okay. So now, can you see the screen right now? It's blank. Okay, just a moment. How about now? Okay. So we're done with sections 1 and 2, okay? So now let's move forward with section 3. So section 3 is quite complex because there are more people talking, okay? So this one is already a discussion between 2 to 4 speakers. Okay. So in section 3, the subject is some aspect of academic life. Usually it has up to 3 tasks. There will be 10 questions. Okay. There is a brief pause in discussion um, between the parts that relate to each of the tasks. Okay. So now, okay. So what does it test? So section 3 tests whether you can follow, okay, whether you can identify the key facts and ideas and how they relate to each other. Okay, so this one you have to identify the speaker's attitudes and opinions. Okay, so here, okay, so one of the skills that you need to have here is the skill in doing flowchart completion. So this one requires you to follow the development of a discussion. So be mindful of the cohesive devices in addition, moreover, or maybe um, the prepositions in, on, under, okay, before. So the steps in the flow chart is in the same order as what you will hear. So for example, just like the others, I always remind you to read the instructions to see how many words or how many gaps are there. Look at the heading. So what is it about? Look at the flow chart and try to predict what the discussion will be about. Read the list of options in the box, listen carefully to the conversation, and transfer your answers to the answer sheet at the end of the test. Okay, so I'm now going to, can you see the screen? I hope that you can see it now. Okay, I'm now going to play the recording for numbers 21 to 26. Okay.
Test 1. Exam practice. Listening, section 3. You will hear 3 students on a media studies course talking about a film they are planning to make. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 26.
Pause the recording for 30 seconds.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 26.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Razor. This is Helen.
Hello.
We're really pleased you've agreed to join us on this film project.
Yes, your experience is going to be so useful.
Well, I hope so. It's the technical side I know best. Lighting, sound and stuff.
But you think the script is okay?
Yes, I think it's great. Have you decided where you're going to shoot?
Well, there's the watermill scene at the end, and we've thought about some locations in town we can use. They're behind the shopping mall and on a couple of residential streets, and in an empty shop on campus. It means we don't have to worry about getting permission from a shop owner.
So, do you think we should go to all the locations with you?
It would be a good idea. We need to talk about the levels of background noise so we know they're all going to be reasonable places to film.
But the sounds of traffic will make it more natural.
I think Razor means things like aeroplanes, trains and so on that would mean we have to stop filming.
Exactly. And also, I'll make notes for myself about what lighting I'm going to need. I think the university department has a good range of equipment, but I'll need to make a list for each location for my own reference. Anyway, once we've had a look round, you can do the roadworks check.
What do you mean?
You need to find out about building work or road works. Because you could start filming one day and come back in the morning to find one of the roads has been dug up. The local council have to be informed about things like that, so you can find out from them.
Okay. Then I think we need to work from the script and put together a list of all the scenes and decide which ones we're going to film when. We need to prepare the shooting schedule day by day.
You're right. Then, when you know how long filming is going to last, you can tell everyone when they're needed.
Okay, so as soon as we can, we'll audition, and then when we contact people to offer them parts, we can send the exact dates and make really sure they're free. Because often the actors are all enthusiastic, but then when you try to pin them down about whether they're really free at that time, you find they've got exams or something, or they're off to a festival just before, and you have to rush about looking for replacements.
Then we need people who can take over the main parts if one of our stars falls ill or something.
Yes, I agree. So offer the main parts to the people we really want, and then look at other volunteers who were okay.
Yes. We can select the understudies once the main roles have been confirmed. So, once we've got that sorted, and we've held all the rehearsals of the main scenes, we'll be ready to start filming.
Yes, that sounds good. Anything else?
Well, just housekeeping, really. We don't actually need costumes because actors will wear their own clothes. My family has agreed to lend us some pieces of furniture which we need, so we'll go and fetch those the weekend before we start.
We'll provide food and drink during shooting, so I'm going to borrow some cool boxes.
And I've got a little van. Most of the locations are within walking distance of the halls of residence anyway. The only one further away is the watermill.
Ah, yes. Can you tell me about that?
Okay. Hang on a minute. I'll get my notes. There's a plan in them.
All right. Okay, so now let's check. So they are talking about a field project. As you've heard, there are so many voices there. Okay, and you just have to follow their plan. Okay, so number 21, visit locations and discuss blank. What could be the answer for number 21? Okay, it's letter C. Okay, background noise. Correct. How about number 22? Contact the blank about road works. So you are going to contact a person, okay? So it's letter E, local council. Number 23, plan the blank. Okay, it's letter G, shooting schedule. Correct. Number 24, hold auditions and recheck availability of the blank. 24 is letter A, actors. Correct. Number 25, choose the blank from the volunteers. Okay, letter H, understudies. And lastly, number 26, collect blank and organize food and transport. 26 is letter B, furniture. All right. It's almost time, but if you'd like to stay, I can still play until 40. Okay. So the next one is the diagram for diagram labeling. You just have to transfer the information that you hear to a simple picture or a plan. Okay. So you have to follow the language expressing where things are. So be familiar with in, on, under, across. Okay. So now, okay, this is in diagram labeling, you will do the same. Okay, you have to read the instructions, check how many parts of the diagram you have to label, look at the heading. So, what is it about? Look at the diagram, read the labels, read the list in the box, and transfer your answers to the answer sheet at the end of the test. Okay, so now, let's move forward to number 27 to 30. Okay, so as you can see, there are, be familiar with the options. Okay, so there's a door, there's a water wheel. Okay, I'm going to play the recording now.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 27 to 30.
Pause the recording for 30 seconds.
Now listen and answer questions 27 to 30.
Here's the mill. You see, basically you have a vertical water wheel which was used to power the grinding stones.
It sounds really interesting. Will we film inside?
Yes, that's where the final scene between the girl and the man takes place. Our plan is to fix one camera outside by the window next to the door to film through the window, and then have another handheld camera inside the mill. That means we can get two views of the same scene. We were going to do something using a mirror, but we decided that would be too complicated.
Yes, by doing it that way, all we'll need is lights on the inside, next to the wall behind the wheel, which can shine across to the opposite wall.
Will that give enough light?
I think so, because the scene is in the evening. It shouldn't be too bright. The actors will be carrying torches too.
And we'll have an old screen made of wood just inside the door, because it's a new door and it'll look wrong. The light won't shine directly on it, so it'll be fine.
So you won't actually show the door open?
No. There's a huge box on the floor against the wall farthest from the wheel. We'll see the girl approaching the mill on her bike. Then we see through the window and the man is inside looking at it. Then the next shot is the girl in the room with him opening the box.
So it'll be a mysterious ending.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's going to be a great project.
Good.
Thanks.
That is the end of section 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
All right, now let's check your answers. Okay, number 27, what is that beside the window? That's letter B, fixed camera, correct. Number 28, okay, so what could be the answer for number 28? It's letter, okay, 27 is B. Okay, 28 is letter A, lights, correct. Okay. Number 29, what is that beside the door? Okay, 27B, 28A. 29 is letter E. There's a wooden screen. Correct. 29 is E. 30. Lastly, what is the surprise? Okay, the last one is letter G. Correct. There will be a large box once they open the door. So, okay, so that is BAEG. Okay, so over 30, what is your score now? We still have one more practice test before we go. Okay, so 28. Okay, not bad. Okay, 28, 26, 25. So I hope that you get 10 points in the last exam. So you can get at least a band score of 6 tonight. Okay. So last, okay, so this is the last one. So now we moved forward to section 4. So section 4 is a lecture or talk or a presentation in front of an audience. Okay, this is some aspect of academic interest. Usually, okay, so usually there is 1 to 3 tasks in this section. Okay, so what does it test? This one test if you can understand and distinguish between ideas, reasons, causes, effect, consequences. Okay, so you have to follow the way ideas are organized. Also, you need to make sure that your spelling is accurate. Okay, so for our last practice test, okay, we're going to do table completion. Okay, so in table completion, you have to follow a talk step by step and complete the table, okay, which gives the record of the information and the ideas you hear. Okay, so you have to listen for verbal signals. So for example, on like when they say moving forward, maybe they're going to talk about another topic. Okay, something like that. So there are some verbal signals. Okay, so in here, again, look at the instructions, look at the heading, look at the column headings, look at each row. Think about what kind of words you need to complete. Remember, the questions run horizontally. Okay, listen and complete each gap. Move on to the next row each time the speaker talks about something new. You have to listen and complete each gap. Move on to the next row, okay, and then keep up with the speaker. If you miss an answer, forget it and move on or make the best guess and then transfer your answers to the answer sheet at the end of the test. Now, let's do the last practice, okay? So, let me play the recording now.
Test 1. Exam practice. Listening, Section 4. You will hear part of a lecture about exotic pests given as the introduction to a course on ecology and environment. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40.
Pause the recording for 1 minute.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Good afternoon. I want this afternoon, as an introduction to our ecology module, to offer examples of exotic pests, non-native animals or plants which are, or may be, causing problems, which might prove a fruitful topic for seminar papers later in the term. People and products are crisscrossing the world as never before. And on these new global highways, plants and animals are travelling too. Exotic plants and animals are turning up in Antarctica and on the most remote islands on Earth. For example, the Australian red-backed spider. It's made its way to countries fairly near home, such as New Zealand and Japan, as some of you may know. Well, it's also been found on Tristan da Cunha, which is a remote island thousands of miles from anywhere, way out in the middle of the Atlantic. Now, another famous animal invader in the other direction, so to speak, from England to Australia in the southern hemisphere, is the rabbit. This was in 1830, and it might seem less of a threat, but it became an extraordinarily destructive pest. The fact that rabbits increased so rapidly is perhaps more understandable when we remind ourselves that they had originally been introduced to England from continental Europe 8 centuries earlier. This was because they were regarded as a luxury food source, and in spite of having warm fur, they probably originated on the hot, dry plains of Spain, which of course explains why they thrive in the climate of Australia. A much less cuddly example of a pest introduced to Australia, this time from America, is fire ants. These are increasing and spreading very fast. Their huge nests can now be found in gardens in the city of Brisbane, and they are costing the Australian government a great deal of money in control measures. These were an accidental introduction, rather than a deliberate one, brought to Australia, probably in horticultural imports or in mud on second-hand machinery. As a biologist and conservationist, I have become increasingly concerned about these matters. Exotic invasions are irreversible and deserve to be taken more seriously, even when they aren't particularly damaging. For example, something that is not necessarily a major disaster compared to other ecological experiments. In 1975, an Australian species of earthworm was deliberately introduced to the Northern Hemisphere in Scotland because they were bigger than the natives. The aim was that they would be more effective than native species, but in fact, they don't do more for the soil condition than the smaller locals which they displace. Although they don't do a lot of harm, as far as we know up to now, this will probably prove to have been a mistake. A much more serious case, also in Scotland, as well as other countries, along with the latest victim, Iceland, is the New Zealand flatworm. This is a most unwelcome newcomer in these regions of northwest Europe. Basically, this flatworm came into these countries by accident. It's now been realised that it was actually carried in the plant pots containing exotic ornamental shrubs and so on, and as it eats local earthworms and doesn't benefit the local ecology in any way, it is a real pest. Next, there's a further instance, this time in the water, and it's come from Japan. It's a delicious but very fast-spreading seaweed and is one of many exotic species, large and small, in the seas covering the rocks around Australia. Unfortunately, it is replacing indigenous seaweeds and permanently altering the ecosystem. However, to look at the situation from a business point of view, it is now being harvested and exported, dried, back to Japan, its original home, where it's particularly popular. So, sometimes we may find accidental benefits from apparently harmful arrivals. Well, you could say that world ecology is now going the same way as popular culture. Global music and fashions, food and drinks are taking over from local ones in every land. And in ecosystems, we find vigorous exotic invaders overwhelming native species and natural habitats. But can we find any examples of invaders which appear to be a problem and then find that in fact they may not be such a big issue after all? We might take as an example a native of Australia, the budgerigar, the most common pet parrot in the world, of course. Because there have been many escapes over the years, it is now to be found lying about in feral flocks where the climate suits it. So, these flocks of budgerigars have been getting very numerous in the southeast of the United States, particularly in residential areas. People have been getting quite worried about this, but it has been observed that the size of the flocks has diminished somewhat recently. The fact that they are smaller is thought to be due to the fact that new competitors for their habitat have arrived from other places. That's the last example for now. What I'd like you to consider is this. Is the planet Earth moving towards a one-world ecosystem? How far would it be a wholly bad development?
That is the end of section 4. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
All right. So,
Pause the recording for 30 seconds.
okay, as you can see, complete the table below. Write no more than 2 words. So if you think or if you see your answers with 3 words, mark them wrong. Okay? So number 31. Okay, what could be the answer? Even on island in the middle of blank. Type your answers on the chat box. Okay. So your answer should be you can write Atlantic. Okay, that's accepted. You can also write the Atlantic. That's okay as well. Or you can write Atlantic Ocean. So just Atlantic is correct. Okay. Number 32. imported into England to be used for blank. Okay, you can write food source. You can write luxury food. Okay, just food. Okay, food source or luxury food. Okay. So number 33, blank in Brisbane. Okay, you can write in gardens. The correct answer is gardens in Brisbane. Okay. The only answer here is in gardens or gardens. Number 34, blank is the name of that pest. That is earthworm, okay? You can earthworm can be spelled one word only or can be two words. Both are accepted. Earthworm. Number 35, deliberately introduced in order to improve blank. Okay, soil condition. Okay. Two answers can be soil only, can be soil condition. Number 36, blank Europe. The correct answer is northwest. Okay, that's right. Number 37, accidental introduction inside imported blank. Okay, inside imported. Mm-hmm. How about the others? What's your answer? Inside imported plant pots. Okay, the correct answer is plant pots. Okay, number 38. Okay, what do you call that pest? Number 38. Okay, that's correct. So seaweed. Okay, correct. Can be one word, can be two words. Both are accepted. But should be correct spelling. Okay. Number 39. So where can you find the Budgerigar? Urban areas of Southeast blank. United States. Correct. Correct answer is United States. Okay. And the last one. Smaller flocks because of arrival of blank in recent years. Arrival of competitors. Yes, you can write new competitors or competitors. Okay, can be new competitors or just competitors. Both are accepted. Okay, now, okay, what is your score over 40? Okay. This is your band scores. Okay. If you got 39 to 40, that's a band score of 9. Okay. So if you get 25, that is a band score of 6. 30 is 7, 34 7.5, 37 8.5. Okay. So I hope that you get a band score higher or 6 or higher than that. Okay. So thank you everybody. I hope that you learned a thing or two. Okay. I hope that you were able to get the skills that you need for IELTS listening. So for those who are going to take the exam this weekend, good luck, and I hope that you get 7 in speaking and 6.5 in your overall band score. So great job everybody, and if you're not taking the exam this weekend, I'll see you again on Monday. Okay? Goodbye everyone. Have a great day ahead.